Welcome to our countdown of 12 epic battles that changed the course of history. From ancient times to modern warfare, these battles have left an indelible mark on the world. We're not just talking about tactical victories and defeats on a battlefield. We're talking about clashes of civilizations, moments where the fate of empires, ideas, and entire ways of life hung in the balance. The echoes of these conflicts still resonate today, shaping the world we live in, the borders we see on maps, and even the languages we speak. Imagine, if you will, the year 490 BC. The Persian Empire, a behemoth of its time, casts a long shadow over the Greek city-states. Their armies, vast and seemingly unstoppable, have come to conquer. At Marathon, on a narrow coastal plain, a vastly outnumbered Greek force makes its stand. Think about the fear, the courage, the sheer desperation that must have gripped those men as they faced the Persian war machine. Their victory, against all odds, sent a shockwave through the ancient world. It was a testament to the power of Greek hoplite warfare, but also a beacon of hope that even the mightiest empires could bleed. Fast forward 10 years, the Persians are back, led by Xerxes, a ruler who demands nothing less than total subjugation. Standing in his way, 300 Spartans, led by King Leonidas, at a narrow pass called Thermopylae. It's a story that has echoed through the ages. The Spartans, knowing their fate, fought with legendary ferocity, holding back the Persian tide for days. Every swing of their swords, every fallen comrade, bought precious time for the other Greek city-states to prepare for the coming storm. Thermopylae was a defeat, yes, but one etched in legend, a testament to the power of human courage and sacrifice in the face of overwhelming odds. The year is 331 BC. Alexander the Great, the young Macedonian king who has already conquered much of the known world, faces his ultimate test, the Persian king Darius III and his vast army at Gaugamela. Imagine the clash of cultures, the sheer scale of the armies involved. Alexander, a brilliant tactician and a fearless leader, outmaneuvers the Persians, shattering their ranks and sending Darius fleeing. Gaugamela wasn't just a battle, it was the death knell of the Persian Empire, an empire that had stretched from Egypt to India. In its wake, a new world order began to emerge, one shaped by Greek culture and influence. Chapter 4. Cannae, the Carthaginian nightmare. Now we travel to the dusty plains of Italy in 216 BC. Rome, the rising power of the Mediterranean, is locked in a death struggle with Carthage, a maritime empire ruled from North Africa. At Cannae, the Carthaginian general Hannibal delivers a military masterpiece, encircling a much larger Roman army and inflicting a defeat so catastrophic that it sent shockwaves through the Roman world. Hannibal's brilliance lay not just in his tactics, but in his understanding of psychology. The Roman legions, renowned for their discipline, were broken, slaughtered in a chaotic melee that became a byword for military disaster. Chapter 5. Hastings, the Norman Conquest. The year 1066 marks a turning point in English history. William the Conqueror, Duke of Normandy, lays claim to the English throne, setting in motion a chain of events that will reshape England forever. At Hastings, his Norman forces clash with the English army under King Harold Godwinson. The battle hangs in the balance, a brutal back-and-forth struggle. The death of Harold, struck down by a Norman arrow, seals England's fate. Norman rule brings with it a new language, a new aristocracy, and a new social order. The England we know today, from its language to its laws, is forever marked by the events of that fateful day. Chapter 6. Agincourt, the triumph of the longbow. The 100 Years' War, a brutal and protracted conflict between England and France, was a crucible that forged national identities. In 1415, at a muddy field near the village of Agincourt, English archers decimated the French cavalry, proving the devastating effectiveness of the longbow. The English victory, against overwhelming odds, shocked Europe and cemented the longbow's place in military history. It also gave rise to a new sense of English national identity, one forged in the fires of victory on a distant battlefield. Chapter 7. Constantinople, the fall of an empire. In 1453, after a 6-week siege, Constantinople, the jewel of the Byzantine Empire and a bastion of Christianity for over 1,000 years, falls to the Ottoman Turks. Imagine the terror of the inhabitants, the thunder of Ottoman cannons, the relentless assaults on the city walls. This wasn't just the fall of a city, it was the end of an era. The Byzantine Empire, the last vestige of the Roman world, was extinguished. The Ottomans, under Sultan Mehmed II, established themselves as a major power, controlling the strategically vital crossroads between East and West. Chapter 8. Lepanto, the Clash of Empires. 1571. The Mediterranean Sea becomes a battleground for empires as the Ottoman fleet, a formidable force that has dominated the region, clashes with a coalition of European powers at Lepanto. The stakes couldn't be higher. Control of the Mediterranean, the lifeblood of trade and communication, hangs in the balance. The battle is a maelstrom of fire and blood, a clash of galleys, cannons and swords. The Christian victory, while not decisive, halts the Ottoman advance and marks a turning point in the struggle for naval supremacy in the Mediterranean. Chapter 9. Waterloo, the end of an era. Napoleon Bonaparte, the Corsican general who had crowned himself Emperor of the French, bestrode Europe like a colossus. But in 1815, his luck ran out. At Waterloo, near a small village in Belgium, his army met its match in a coalition of British, Dutch and Prussian forces. The battle was a brutal affair, a back-and-forth struggle that raged for hours. The arrival of the Prussians late in the day tipped the scales decisively against Napoleon. His defeat marked the end of his reign and ushered in a new era of peace and stability in Europe. Chapter 10. Gettysburg, a nation divided. The American Civil War, a conflict that tore the nation apart, was fought on battlefields from the rolling hills of Virginia to the swamps of Louisiana. But perhaps no battle was more pivotal than Gettysburg. In July 1863, Confederate forces under General Robert E. Lee clashed with Union forces commanded by General George Meade. The battle raged for 3 days, a brutal and bloody affair that left thousands dead. Lee's gamble to invade the North ended in defeat, marking a turning point in the war. The Union victory at Gettysburg, while costly, shattered the myth of Confederate invincibility and set the stage for the eventual Union victory. Chapter 11. D-Day, a turning tide, June 6, 1944. The fate of the world hangs in the balance as Allied forces, in the largest amphibious invasion in history, storm the beaches of Normandy, France. Imagine the courage of those young men landing on those beaches under a hail of German fire. The air was thick with the sounds of battle, the roar of naval guns, the staccato bursts of machine gun fire, the cries of the wounded. D-Day was more than just a battle. It was a logistical marvel, a testament to the combined might of the Allied forces. The liberation of Western Europe from Nazi tyranny had begun. Chapter 12. Stalingrad, a city of bones. Stalingrad, the name itself evokes images of unimaginable brutality, of a battle fought house to house, street by street, in the ruins of a shattered city. The German Sixth Army under General Friedrich Paulus was tasked with capturing the city that bore Stalin's name. What followed was a battle of attrition, a clash of ideologies as much as armies. The Soviets, fighting with the fury of a people defending their homeland, inflicted horrific casualties on the Germans. The German defeat at Stalingrad marked a turning point on the Eastern Front, the beginning of the end for Hitler's dreams of conquest. Outro echoes of the past. Thanks for joining us on this journey through history's most epic battles. These weren't just clashes of armies, they were clashes of civilizations, moments that shaped the course of human history. The echoes of these conflicts still resonate today, reminding us of the human capacity for both good and evil, for courage and sacrifice, for victory and defeat. The study of history is more than just memorizing dates and names. It's about understanding the forces that have shaped our world, the choices made by those who came before us, and the enduring lessons of the past.